Hi, this is Jeff, and this is Article of Faith number 23, the Lord's Day. Again, if you want to see any of my past ones, I've been going through these doctrines of the United Methodist Church, and I've been posting them on my videos on Facebook as well as on YouTube. This was probably one of the most challenging ones because it seems so rigid and so against our current culture that you would have Sunday, just one day that is just totally devoted to the Lord, and it's just interesting. So it was the one I probably struggled with the most. And this one is just found in the EUB, and it's Confession of Faith number 14. We believe the Lord's Day is divinely ordained for private and public worship, for rest from unnecessary work, and should be devoted to spiritual improvement, Christian fellowship, and service. It is commemorative of our Lord's resurrection and is an emblem of our eternal rest. It is essential to the permanence and growth of the Christian church and important to the welfare of the civil community. You know, for a long time I used to think, and I almost still do, I'm still trying to accept this, that it's important to set aside a day for the Lord. You know, a day when you don't do regular work. And I've been actually just recently trying to make sure I don't do too much regular work on Sunday. Every now and then, it depends on the work schedule. It might it might push some of my other work to Sunday. But for the most part, I've been trying to do that. But does it have to be Sunday? In our 24/7 culture, could you choose another day? And for me, what this is saying is that, it's pointing to the Lord's resurrection, which would have been a Sunday. And it's also saying, for me, this was the clincher. It says it's divinely ordained. So it means that God has chosen a day. And so that unless he's chosen, the only option is, did God choose a specific day for everybody, or is this for people, period? And I think it'd be hard to make the argument that it was any other day than Sunday, that this should be Sunday. So if you are a Christian, this would be what we are saying should happen on your Sunday. It should be devoted to the Lord, and you're going to see that in a number of ways. You're going to see public worship, so you're going to be worshiping, and private worship too, but definitely public worship. You're going to have taken care of all of your other work during the other 6 days, and so you're not going to be doing anything unnecessary work on those other days. So you're probably still cooking meals and doing dishes. Feeding the dog or whatever, if you have animals, that kind of stuff. But besides that, everything else should be taken care of during the other 6 days. And you're going to have some time devoted to spiritual improvement. And it doesn't say that spiritual improvement is just a one-day thing. I think, spiritual improvement is probably a 7-day thing, but this should be given extra focus probably on Sunday. And then there's going to be time for fellowship and service. So there's a lot going on there. And it really, so imagine if your whole church, that was the thing, that people were devoted to worship, to some at least resting from your unnecessary work, to spiritual improvement, to fellowship, to service. That would pretty much fill up your whole day. And here's what it would do. It is essential for the permanence and growth of the Christian church. And so if you imagine everybody in your church is devoted to this, I can see how that would make your church stronger. I could see how that would make your church grow. Because all of a sudden, every Sunday, you're out there, not only you're meeting and building each other up, but then you're also devoted to service as well. Every Sunday. Sometimes we'll do a couple of service projects a year, but not every Sunday, and sometimes we just dabble here and there and everywhere else, but it's just interesting. I can see how that could help a church grow. And actually, as we've neglected Sunday as a church, You see how the decline of the church has happened. We've had the church has been in decline, and I wonder how closely that is because we don't treat the Lord's Day as the Lord's Day. We often have started treating it as any other day. And the part that was the most interesting to me was this idea, is that if we as Christians honor the Lord's Day, that will be a welfare to the whole community. That everybody will be better off if we honor the Lord's Day. And yeah, that was an interesting idea. And I remember reading a while ago, John Wesley had given a talk to this group on the Reformation of Manners, I think is what it was called. But basically what they wanted to do is have people treat the Lord's Day with respect, and that there wouldn't be unnecessary work. So shops wouldn't be open, and people wouldn't be just going about their regular everyday life, that there would be this special day devoted to the Lord. And you see how that had such an effect in England back in the day, when they were quicker on getting rid of slavery, when they did better about taking care of the kids. They saw big improvements in that area, and in a bunch of areas that just benefited England, period. And I wonder how much of that was because they honored the Lord's Day. So it's something interesting to think about. I know myself this year, I've been trying to avoid unnecessary work. I've always worshipped on Sunday. The one thing I haven't been doing much is the fellowship and service on those days. I've always kind of thought, well, I do more fellowship on Thursdays than I do on any other day. And on service, that one, it seems like, you do a service project every now and then. It's not a regular thing that we do. So I just wonder how that would change my life if I accept this doctrine. Anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next week.